everyone's ready, we're going to go ahead and start our meeting. I'd like to get everyone to stand. The city manager will read us an invocation.
Father, we just thank you for today. We thank you for the blessings that you grace us with all the time. And help us to be mindful of those and to look for you in the details. Father, today's been a rough day in our community, and we just thank you for your presence. Thank you for these gentlemen who have stepped up to serve the citizens of Muleshoe. We thank you for our community and for the blessings that you give us all the time. Father, we thank you for the men and women who are serving around the country, around the world, that protect the freedoms that we enjoy every day. Father, now I would ask you to be with these gentlemen as they make decisions that impact our community and help them to keep your will in mind. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Let the record show that we do have a quorum, and we'll call the meeting to order. And if you will all join me, we'll have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. We're used to the flag.
Yeah, you need to let us know
When we move it.
You move anything in here, we're uncomfortable. It is at this time in our meeting that we're always excited to welcome guests and take time to have public comment. We want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Avery, we'd really like to thank you for coming. And Dr. Richards, it's nice to see you. And Mr. Precure, we're glad to have you. Good to be here. Both of you representing the school. And Gil, it's nice to see you tonight. We have Lottie, our attorney. And it's good to have him, and it's really good to have all the staff. Appreciate everybody being here. Now, at this time, we'll open the floor for public comment, if anybody would like to do that. If not, we'll go ahead and start with our agenda. The first thing we would like to do is to present the oath of office to council member of District 1.
Colt, can you come forward, please?
Where do you stand?
Right over there, please. Do we need to move around for you or anything?
You want to switch sides?
Sure.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Colt Ellis,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of Council Member District 1
the duties of office of Councilmember District 1
of the City of Muleshoe,
of the City of Muleshoe,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Austin? Austin's our brand new council member, and we're pleased to have you. If you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Austin Bamert,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of Council Member District 2
the duties of office of the council member of District 2
of the City of Muleshoe,
at the City of Muleshoe,
and will to the best of my ability
and to the best of my ability
will preserve, protect, and defend
will preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right.
Next thing we'd like to do on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the May 9th meeting of this year. I trust you've all reviewed those minutes, and I'll make a motion we approve those.
I'll second them.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next thing we would like to do is to elect a Mayor Pro Tem. Under Section 3.05 of the City of Muleshoe Home Rule Charter states that at the first meeting after the election of council members, the Mayor Pro Tem will be elected and will serve all duties of the mayor in the absence or disability of the mayor. So I will open the floor for nominations.
Make a motion, Councilmember McElroy be Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. I'll second that. We have a motion and a second that Councilman McElroy be elected Mayor Pro Tem. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right. Oh, and I won't be here for August, September. Okay. All right. Thank you for allowing us to
You're welcome.
have your services in that position. Yes.
It's an honor.
All right. Okay, next thing we would like to do is to consider election service contract with Muleshoe Independent School District for a special election that they will hold on September the 8th of this year. And Leanne, I'll let you and Dr. Richards and Mr. Precure talk to us about all that.
Well, if I could start, gentlemen, I'd just go ahead and say that if the ISD board chooses to order that election, then they're going to have a tax rollback special election on September 8th. And y'all know the last several years, the city's administered their special and general elections for them. And so they've asked us to administer this election as well if it's ordered. So this contract, it's the same basic contract that you've seen time and time again, whereby it just states what our responsibilities will be and what their responsibilities will be. But Dr. Richards and Mr. Precure have come to the meeting tonight to talk a little bit about that election. So I thought you might want to get some of that information before you actually act on this item.
Mayor Black, Councilman, we appreciate you sharing this time with us and allowing us to come before you at this time. The election that we're going to be conducting will actually be shown as a tax increase for the school district. We're actually going to be doing a tax swap, but it will be stated on the ballot as a tax increase. We are trying to gain as much of an advantage as we can for funding from the state of Texas, and as Dr. Richards has brought it to our attention that we can do this tax swap between our M&O tax rate and our INS tax rate, and we'll be raising our M&O tax rate to from $1.04 to $1.17 if it's voted in, and at that time we will lower the INS tax rate by that same 13-cent difference to 18 cents from 31 cents. So
Can I interrupt? Just what's M&O and INS stand for?
M&O is maintenance and operations. There's two different taxes that the school districts levy. One is for maintenance and operations, which basically goes to funding our normal operations of the school district. INS is interest and sinking, and that is a special debt service fund or tax that goes to fund the debt services that we incur, in which that's funding the tax that we levied for the improvements at the school, the bond collection.
Pardon me for interrupting.
Sure, no, that's no problem. Sorry, I didn't explain that before. So anyway, the net effect is going to be zero as far as taxes on the general public. And what it will do is, you'll notice, I don't know which page it's on, page 8, I believe. There at the bottom, our net gain from the state of Texas will be $612,571 at our with the current rubric that we use, showing our current school population on students. And that's what we're looking at. We're wanting to maximize what we get from the state. This will allow us to hopefully gain some for the district, and in turn, help benefit the community. Dr. Richard, do you have anything else?
I've got a question.
Sure.
if there's no actual increase in the amount of tax that the public pays, why do you call this a rollback?
Well, we're not calling it a rollback. It's, yeah, I think it was misstated earlier. It's actually gonna be a tax increase.
In some area?
Well, in some, yeah, we can't put on the ballot that this is a tax swap. That's what it's kind of classified. We can only have the electorate vote on the tax increase. Now, if we were to do a rollback, that wouldn't even need to be voted on. If we were to lower the taxes, we don't even have to vote on that. And that's why we're not having to vote on the decrease on the INS, because since it's a decrease, the board elects the school board, in which we've already voted on it, to drop that tax if the increase goes through on the M&O.
So they won't really let you call it a tax swap?
No, they won't let us call it a tax swap, because the electorate only votes on the tax increase.
So after the dust all settles, and if it passes, there will not be 1 penny of increased taxes?
No, not 1 penny. Right. We're just designating it from different areas, again, to maximize what we get from the state. And that's, if we want to, we can go through that. I can let Dr. Richards show
I
that.
think that's going to be the toughest part to sell the public.
Right. Well, and that's the thing we're wanting to do, is get the word out that, because, again, on the ballot, it's going to, people are going to go up to that ballot and they're going to see tax increase. And if they don't know that we're doing the tax swap, all they're going to know is that it's going to be increasing their taxes instead of us doing the swap with it.
I may have misstated that, but the information that we had from the attorneys actually say rollback
Does it say
election.
rollback? Okay.
So that's where I
Okay.
got that.
Yeah, in the law, I believe it's called tax rollback election, which is kind of interesting that it's an increase, but they call it a rollback. So I think that's kind of interesting. To try to explain it a little better, if you'll look on page 7, I'm going to try to explain how the school district receives money from the state. So on page 7, for the first dollar of taxes that we have, if you'll look over on the left-hand side where it says $51.40, then we receive that amount of money from the state because we're a property poor school district. So then, if you have any taxes from $1 to $1.06, then you get what they call golden pennies in that yellow area in the middle. And you can see how much higher it is, and it's all actually based on the Austin taxes. And then if you have any more above that, you still get some money. Now that light blue up above that says recapture, that's for the property rich school districts, and they have to pay that back to different, to Austin, and then it's the Robin Hood plan, what comes back to other school districts. So as we do this, it will generate a new revenue stream for Muleshoe ISD. So as we increase the taxes, it creates more money coming from Austin to the school district. So if you'll go to the next page, or first, does anyone have any questions on that page? I know it's a little bit confusing, but I think this will help. On page 8, if you'll look over on the left-hand side where it says present tax rate, the total tax rate is $1.35. And the present tax rate's $1.04 for that maintenance and operation, like Councilmember McElroy was asking, and the 31 cents is for the INS. So see that in red? $1.04 and 31, that equals $1.35. What we're attempting to do with the tax swap is increase the M&O, that would go up to $1.17. And then the INS would go down to 18 cents, so it'd be a 13-cent decrease. So the tax rate is actually the same. But it generates a lot more money to the school district because we're a property poor school district. And then we'll take care of the bond debt, the bond issue debt payment from those proceeds, and it'll all work out that way. So President Precure and I'll stand for questions, or if you have any thoughts.
Explain to me again, you did this one day over at the President District Board meeting, why you would choose September the 8th? for the election.
Yeah. Usually,
Not November when
Right.
everybody goes to the polls.
right. Just usually for school districts, everyone's excited when school comes back into session. We're trying to get all of our budget and everything done by the end of September, because most school districts are on a different kind of fiscal year. And so we thought September 8th would probably be a good time, right after the kids get back to school. Everyone's excited and that kind of a positive attitude. The November election, I can't tell if it's going to be real positive this year. And so I'm thinking September 8th might be a good one. We feel like this revenue stream would be something that would help our school district and our community for years to come. That's what we're hoping.
You think the parents will be so glad to get rid of them that they'll come and vote?
That might work, Mayor Black, yes.
Is this just for 1 year?
No.
Okay, so we'll continue on?
Continue.
Okay.
How's the staff feel about the cooperating with the election?
We're happy to do that. We've discussed that, and there's some dynamics that are a little bit different with this election. We're actually going to be working with Lamb County a little bit more than normal because the school district does extend into Lamb County. So there will actually be a polling place there. So that's changing some dynamics for us just a little bit. But we've already been in conversation with them and getting that all worked out.
And what location would you be up here?
Yes, yes. You know, we've gone through some time, Dr. Richards and I have talked about this numerous times. You know, a few years ago, whenever it became a reality that we were going to actually administer the elections for the school district, we changed polling places. We went through the Department of Justice, if you remember, and got those polling places changed. So we feel like we've educated the public so that they know if we're having a city, school, or hospital district election, that those happen at City Hall. And so if the school board approves that, then all of this voting will happen at City Hall also. We don't want to do anything to affect our May general elections and change it. We don't want to add any confusion to the polling place locations.
I'll have some more questions. So, I hate to ask this, but if it fails, it will remain the same.
Right. We'll just keep it the same.
Okay.
Correct.
We're hoping it doesn't, but if that happens, then it stays exactly the same.
We'll continue on, but, you know, hopefully if it does pass, it'll give us some extra dollars to do some things throughout the district, maybe some things we've been wanting to do, or maybe some benefits for the employees, things like that. But hopefully it will go through. If it doesn't, we're okay. We've already set our planned tax rate in the plan that it's not going to pass. And we budgeted for that. And if it goes through, then we'll be actually better off this year than if it doesn't. So, but
Are y'all going to be going around presenting this to the public in different ways and shaking hands, kissing babies, and all that kind of stuff?
yeah, we'll do a little bit of that.
Okay,
Right.
so you'll make town hall meetings, presentations and stuff from now until September?
That's correct.
That works?
Okay. I think it's going to be needed and necessary in order to get the word out as to what we're trying to do with it, to prevent any confusion.
Aside from what you've heard in here, what's the toughest question you guys have come across or concern that maybe I wasn't smart enough to think of?
I don't know.
Yeah, about the toughest one, I think, is just, you know, what would we spend the money on? I'm kind of used to not spending my money till I get it. And so I haven't overly planned, but we want it to be for programs for kids and possible benefits for teachers. And like for it to stay in the local community as much as possible to help things circulate in the community. And, you know, that amount of money over several periods of years ends up being quite a bit of money that could help.
Absolutely.
Gives you a lot more money for maintenance and operation.
That's right.
I'll make a motion that we approve the election service contract with Muleshoe ISD for the special election.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second to approve the election contract with the MISD. Is there any other discussion, questions? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Y'all come back.
All right,
Thank
yeah,
you.
we've got another meeting to go to, so.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Next thing we'd like to do is to consider authorizing the solicitation of bids for the home grant projects. Leanne, I'm going to let you review that
Okay.
and explain this one.
You know, we're participating in the home grant. Y'all remember, we have several homes where homes have actually been demolished and then rebuilt in that same location for families that meet the criteria of that program. And so, again, we're at the point of the grant administrators are ready to solicit bids for the contractors to do that work. And so we would just ask council to consider authorizing that, giving the authorization to solicit bids.
Have you got to the point yet where you're taking applications for the actual?
Actually, those families have been identified.
Already?
And am I right, Ramon? We started out with 5, but we've ended up with 3.
3.
Actually.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll just make a motion to,
Authorize that action. Okay, and I'll second it. A motion and a second to authorize the solicitation of bids for the home grant program. Is there any other questions or comments? Not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. The thing we would like to do is to receive the financial statement for the month of May of this year. And I trust that you have all reviewed that line by line, and I'll make a motion that we approve that financial statement.
I'll second it.
And we have a second. Is there any questions? Comments? Not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next thing we would like to do is have administrative reports from Leanne.
Just to let you know that the city hosted a blood drive on May 11th. It's summertime, so we didn't have quite the participation that we normally have, but we appreciate all those who donated blood. Muleshoe Water Park opened on Tuesday, May 31st. The weather was not ideal that day. The weather's been a little sporadic lately, but the water park's off to a great season. Then Fireman Benny Parker and Gage Edwards won the water polo competition at the Panhandle Fire Convention for the 2nd year in a row. And their trophy and their plaque is there for you to see. And I think they have a lot of fun, but I think there's also some skill involved in that. And so we appreciate their participation.
Skill and endurance, I think.
I think so.
Big part of that. We want to congratulate them.
The summer reading program's underway at the Muleshoe Area Public Library. They've got lots of kiddos that are involved in that, and it's a great program and used for the library. So they're working on that. This week we're going to have the first movie in the park of the season. We'll be showing The Blind Side, and the Muleshoe Girls Softball League will operate the concession stand. So everybody come on out to the park. It's located down by the baseball field, softball field, and the parking there, and the big screen will be going up, and should be a good night. The movie starts about dark, so come on out. There's lots of folks that look forward to that. And then City Attorney Slater Elza has been appointed to the TML Legislative Committee on Transportation and Utilities, and he's appointed in his capacity as the City Attorney for the City of Muleshoe. And that committee met recently, and one of the main topics he told me discussed at that meeting was the shortage of certified operators for cities who operate water and wastewater systems. He said there's over 12,000 water systems in the state of Texas and only 9,000 certified operators. And the committee has asked TML support in looking for solutions in that. We know there's some area cities where they share licensed operators for that. But anyway, Slater's on that committee and they're discussing that. And then the quarterly TML Region III meeting will be held in Lubbock on Thursday, June 23rd. Zana will be talking to y'all about whether or not you plan to go so that she can get reservations sent in for you. and it's going to be at the Scottish Rites Learning Center. I believe it's the City of Floydada?
Yeah.
City of Floydada is going to be hosting that meeting. So we'd encourage you to attend that. And then the management team had recently attended a meeting where the changes on the city's medical, dental, and vision insurance were explained. Looking at a 12% increase this year in those benefits. Actually, I was a little happy to hear 12%. It wasn't 21% like we've had in the past, so 12% didn't sound as bad. Also, the heat pump units are being installed at the country club. For those of y'all that are out there, some, you know that that's going on. And so that's a project it's going to take a little while, a few weeks, I think. They're actually working whenever the country club is not open, so it doesn't hinder anything that's going on out there. But I talked to Wilson Drilling this morning, and that's been taken care of right now. Then you have a flyer there at your, on the dais that the city's summer employee staff council swim party is going to be held at the Muleshoe Water Park next Monday, 7:00 p.m. River Smiths will be there to cater that meal, so we'd invite you and your families to come out for that. And then Chamber of Commerce is getting ready for July 4th. They've got lots of activities planned, and they're looking for participants in those activities that are going to be going on. So we encourage the public to participate in those. And as always, Muleshoe puts on a great July 4th celebration, and so we encourage everybody to come out and participate in that. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Aren't they going to concentrate their activities and stuff around the courthouse this year?
Yes. Yes, they are.
Booths and all kinds of
Mhm.
stuff.
I think there's plans for a car show, we have antique tractor show, there's a Little Miss and Mr. Firecracker pageant. I don't know, they've got a whole list of things that they're concentrating on.
Lots of
Yes.
vendors,
Lots of vendors,
food
and
booths.
those will be located around the courthouse.
I
And
heard
then,
the chief was going to serve homemade ice cream.
is that right? I missed out on that.
That just a rumor?
Somebody's making it, I'll serve it,
All right.
and I'll eat all of it. Oh,
And then, as always, later that evening, the Muleshoe Volunteer Fire Department will have the display for fireworks. That's always,
There will also be a carnival in the park.
yes, there will.
Park looks really nice from Dave.
Rain helps.
Looks good.
I failed to mention, we had the junior anglers youth fishing last weekend, and last Saturday. We had 77 kids that actually registered, but we counted over 120 folks that were there participating, and caught some good-sized fish. And just a note, we have a new game warden in town that is actually living in Muleshoe. And I understand that we've had some fishermen down at the lake that have gotten acquainted with him.
That's
So
good.
just to remind folks that if you're over age 16, and I'm not sure what the maximum age is, but you do have to have a fishing license for down there. So if you haven't met our new game warden, you may have opportunity.
And I think even if you're a senior citizen, you have to have one. It doesn't cost you anything, but you
Okay.
have to have one.
Okay. So, anyway, the fish was stocked, the lake was stocked with 300 to 400 pounds of new fish. And
Cool. There's a lot of activity
Nice
down there
down there.
since then, too. That's good. Have we started spraying for mosquitoes yet? Good.
We will continue. We've been larviciding, standing water, and we'll continue spraying.
After all that rain. Good. Especially for Thursday. How many certified operators do we have?
Currently, 2.
2. Good.
We're working on the 3rd one and the 4th one.
That's good. Anybody else have any comment?
I might add one more thing. Code enforcement is out and working heavily.
Diligently.
Diligently. We want Muleshoe to keep looking good, improve looks, but with the rain, there's going to be lots of weeds and tall grass and those kind of things. So if you take it upon yourself to go ahead and take care of that on your property, we'd appreciate it. If not, our code enforcement officer may be in touch with you.
That's good. Just a side note, I attended the South Plains Regional Review Committee last week. Guess I'm now on the board of that committee, and for life. And what the committee does basically is it reviews and sets the procedures for the grant funding, the scoring processes, for even like the home grant program. Anybody has any detailed questions, I'll be glad to answer them. We do the scoring criteria, we figure out all those rules and regulations and change them if necessary for all the grant money. It's about $61 million worth of grant money that we oversee. So it was a very interesting meeting, and if you have any comments about that or any questions, just see me. Be glad to answer. So, anybody else?
Welcome to Austin.
Yeah, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yes,
Glad to be here.
if nobody else has anything, then we will consider ourselves adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Appreciate it.